Have y'all seen this? Happy Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Welcome to She Knows DNA. My name is Mia Vanna and I am a board certified genetic counselor. As many of you guys know, the month of October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So literally you're gonna see all kinds of things in the color pink. That means football games or other types of events. It's just gonna be pink everywhere. But whenever it comes to the pink ribbon, that is just a symbol related to breast cancer. All the other cancers, they also have their own colors too, but pink is what we are celebrating this month. Okay, not celebrating, but bringing awareness. Now, I have done a video on cancers and breast cancers before, so please feel free to go look back at that video. It had some amazing information. However, this time I'm gonna do it a little bit differently and it will be able to use on top of that previous video. That makes sense? Don't worry about it. I'll explain it to you. So let's get into it. Just starting from the basics, remember all cancers are genetic. Genetic simply just means that there's a change in the DNA. However, 5 to 10% of all cancers are related to an inherited cancer syndrome. That means that there's a change in the DNA that has been going in the family bloodline and literally it is inherited. It can be passed down to many generations. There are a number of genes that is associated with breast cancer. The ones we always talk about is BRCA1, BRCA2, commonly known as BRCA. But today, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go down a list of a number of cancer syndromes to which breast cancer is associated with. However, what will be really helpful too is outside of breast cancer, whenever you're looking at these genes, we'll look at some other cancers that will kind of give us an idea of which of these genetic syndromes to look for based off your family and personal history. On this list, it does show some genes that can contribute to hereditary breast cancer. However, we're not gonna go down the entire list, and I know even there may be some others that aren't on this list, but the ones we will focus on are the ones that are circled in pink on this picture. First things first, let's talk about BRCA1 and BRCA2 all together. So we know these two genes have an impact on breast cancer and ovarian cancer, but what's interesting about this chart is that there are different percentages even for those two conditions. And then as we go down, they mention some other types of cancer. So if you see male breast cancer, then your mind should think about BRCA2. There's also, you see prostate cancer, which is likely BRCA2, and even pancreatic cancer, likely being BRCA2. Now, there is something called triple negative breast cancer, and so essentially there are some receptors that are not present, and this is a very aggressive type of breast cancer. If you do see triple negative breast cancer, your mind needs to think BRCA1. And then black women, out of the two, we are more than likely or most likely to have BRCA2. However, do not rule out BRCA1 because remember I talked about that aggressive triple negative type of cancer. Black women are more likely, if they do have that BRCA1 gene, they mutation on that gene, they're more likely to have that very aggressive type of cancer compared to others. Now, while I'm saying this, and even the thing about the race and all those things, you need to make sure that all kinds of cancer genes are on the panel. So make sure they are checking both and not just BRCA2, because we know that one's just a little bit more common in the Black population. Out of the syndrome that does involve these two genes is called hereditary breast and ovarian cancer syndrome. Next, there is a hereditary condition titled hereditary diffuse gastric cancer. This one is related to the gene CDH1. Now get this, not only does this type of genetic abnormality put someone at a high risk of getting breast cancer, more specifically lobular breast cancer, but it also has stomach cancer, which I know it says on their gastric, right? So if you have a family history of breast and gastric cancer or stomach cancer, this is the one they need to look into. Next, there is PTEN hamartoma tumor syndrome, which is caused by a defect in the PTEN gene. So with this one, yes, there's breast cancer, but there's also thyroid cancer, renal cell cancers, colon cancer, endometrial cancer, and honestly a little bit more. This one also can definitely have benign tumors. Now the thing is about this one is that yes, not only do we have those cancers, but another sign of this is macrocephaly, meaning a big head, and autism. Those are all signs of this type of condition. PTEN is also a condition to where you do need to start screening your children early, especially when it comes to the neurodevelopment and looking at their thyroid. Peutz-Jeghers syndrome is caused by a defect in the gene called STK11. The associated cancers that go with that are women's breast cancer, colorectal, gastric, ovarian sex cord tumors, pancreatic, small bowel, lung, cervical, endometrial, and testicular cancer. Last but not least, we have Li-Fraumeni syndrome, which is caused by the gene TP53. So some of the cancers associated with this one are breast cancer, prostate cancer, soft tissue sarcomas, and then there can be like the bone sarcomas, brain cancers in both men and women, colorectal cancer, gastric, and pancreatic. This is also a genetic syndrome that can affect children as well. So that is something that we can test for in a child just because we know that they can get affected pretty early in life. So that is just a smidge of the genes that's related to hereditary breast cancer. Whenever you are going to like a genetic counselor like myself, especially in the cancer realm, they are likely going to order a panel, meaning that they're going to test for multiple genes that is related to not only your history, but your family's history. And so when it comes to breast cancer, these genes that I spoke of should be on there. Another thing to note too is that hereditary cancer syndromes move in an autosomal dominant inheritance pattern. So that just means every person that does have that at least one gene that has that mutations, then for all of their children, there's a 50% chance that they will also inherit that mutation. But this is really more so just to give you an idea of how not only breast cancer can be associated with some of these genes, but there's other things you got to look at too. It's just information. However, please make sure you talk to your healthcare provider or even a genetic counselor before you do anything crazy, okay? And of course, I'm always here if you have questions. One more thing, for the love of God, if y'all did direct-to-consumer testing like 23andMe and they looked at cancer genes, please don't do nothing stupid or crazy until a person like me looks at those results. Okay, I'm done. And now to leave you with words of wisdom. All right, y'all, so I know y'all been seeing Deuce O'Shea by Quavius Craig behind me. Just getting a great nap in. But listen up, you guys. Deuce O'Shea is about to get his own social media platform. That is right. We're talking maybe YouTube, maybe Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I told him he needs to contribute to the household, especially financial. And since everyone loves Deuce, I might as well make money off of it. Amen? Amen. And so I will let you guys know what the name is. If I already know what the name is, by the time this video drops, I will place it in this video. It'll be somewhere around me, somewhere, okay? Like, comment, subscribe to his stuff as well as his mother's. She Knows DNA, Mia Ivana. Don't forget about me. Support us both. Amen? Amen. That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for continuing to support She Knows DNA. Please feel to like, comment, subscribe, all the things. And until next time, may God bless you. May He keep you. Always be my prayer. I'll see y'all later. Bye.